Today we're going to learn how to divide polynomials using long division. As a quick review, I know we did this in class, I'm just going to show you one long division problem like you learned back when you were probably in 4th grade. But here we have 384 divided by 5. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this into our form. So 384 divided by 5. Okay, so first we look and we see that 5 won't go into 3. So we look at the first two digits, 38. 5 does go into 38. It goes into it 7 times. So we put the 7 up at the top. Our next step is we multiply. We multiply this 7 times this 5. So 7 times 5 is 35. The next step, and this is a big one, is that we're going to subtract. So we're going to put subtraction right here, minus 35. This is a key step. We're going to really need this particular step when we're working with our polynomials. So we put our subtraction or our minus sign right here, and then we say 38 minus 35 is 3, and then we bring down the 4, and we do it again. Start the whole process over. So 5 goes into 34. How many times? Well, it goes into it 6 times. 6 times 5 is 30. Our next step is subtraction, so I'm putting my subtraction sign. 34 minus 30 is 4. That 4 is my remainder. If there's a remainder, what that means is that 5 is not a factor of 384. So if there is a remainder, it's not a factor. If 5 had divided into it evenly, then it would be considered a factor. Okay, so that's just getting you back into the process. It's really not part of the process to divide a polynomial by a monomial. I'm going to do one of these. We will do this later, but it's already something you know how to do. I'm just going to show it to you to keep in the back of your mind. It's something you already know how to do. But if we had number 3, we have 8x minus 24 divided by 4. I'm just going to go ahead and write it as a fraction. That's the way we know how to work with this. So really what that is 8x divided by 4 minus 24 divided by 4. So here we can say 8 divided by 4 is 2. So 2x minus 24 divided by 4 is 6. So that process, something you already know how to do. We're not going to spend a lot of time sitting here beating a dead horse. Let's go ahead and turn the page. I put the steps for long division up at the top. Frankly, I don't think anybody's ever going to read those steps, but they're there if for some reason you can't remember what's going on. But pretty much when we're dividing polynomials, we're doing the exact same steps that we were just doing when we divided 5 into 384. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one. So the first thing I'm going to do is get it set up. So I've got y plus 5 is going to be divided into 2y squared plus 3y, let's extend this, minus 40. Okay, so there's my problem. This is going to work pretty much just like we did with numbers. Few things that you need to know. When we're doing our dividing into, we're only going to be working with the first term, with the y. So we're going to look here at our 2y squared, and we're going to say, how many times does y divide into 2y squared? So let's just pull over here, get a little bit of a workspace, and I'm going to say 2y squared, so 2 y squared, I'm expanding it, divided by y. I can cancel out a y on top and bottom, so that tells me that y will divide into 2y squared 2y times. Okay, next step is we are supposed to multiply this guy at the top times this guy here. So this is a double rainbow, a distribution problem. Come back over to our workspace. We're going to say 2y times y plus 5. And we're going to use our double rainbow. So 2y times y and 2y times 5. Well, 2y times y is 2y to the second power, and 2y times 5 is plus 10y. So that's what we're going to bring down. So we've got 2y squared plus 10y. Okay. Remember how I kept saying the subtraction is a major part of the step? We have to subtract, but we're not just subtracting 2y squared, we're subtracting this whole entire binomial. This whole thing is being subtracted. So what that really means is we have to change the sign of both guys inside. That'll make this a plus. Okay, so 2y squared minus 2y squared, those cancel out. And then I have 3y plus negative 10y. So that's going to come down to negative 7y. And then, just like we did, we have to bring down our next term. So negative 7y minus 40. Now we start the whole process over again. So we're taking our y and saying, how many times can we divide y into negative 7y? So again, over here to the side, negative 7y divided by y. My y's cancel out, so I have minus 7. Okay, next step of the process. We multiply what we have on top, the negative 7, times our y plus 5. So I'm going to do that right over here. Got negative 7. Negative 7 times y plus 5. Again, this is our double rainbow, so double rainbow this. And we end up with negative 7y times negative 35. Okay, so I'm going to bring that down. I've got negative 7y minus 35. But remember, I'm going to put it in parentheses. This whole thing is getting subtracted. So I'm going to change all the signs to make it addition. Cancel out. Negative 7y plus 7y cancels out. Negative 40 plus 35 equals negative 5. Okay, that guy's my remainder. Y won't go into that. So my answer is 2y minus 7. Now we have to deal with the remainder. So we're going to say plus our negative 5, our remainder, over what we're originally dividing by. So there is my lovely answer. Okay, so let's do number 6. Okay, again, I'm going to get it all set up. I got 2b squared minus b minus 3, and I'm being divided by b plus 1. So remember, again, we're only going to be worrying about how much the b will go into it. So b goes into 2b squared. So I'm going to write 2b squared divided by b leaves me with 2b. So 2b on the top. My next step is to multiply what's on top times this whole thing on the side. So I'm going to say 2b times b plus 1. This is my double rainbow. So that gives me 2b squared plus 2b. So I'm going to bring that down here. 2b squared plus 2b. Okay, this thing is being subtracted. So what we're going to do is go ahead and change the sign of both of the guys inside. So I've got 2b squared minus 2b squared. Those cancel out. And then I got negative b, negative 1b plus negative 2b, which is negative 3b. And then I bring my 3 down, minus 3. Now we start the process over. Okay, how many times does b go into negative 3b? Well, negative 3 times. Now we have to multiply what we have on top times this right here. So we're going to say negative 3 times b plus 1. It's our double rainbow. Gives us negative 3b minus 3. That's what we're going to bring down here. So negative 3b minus 3. Remember that this is a subtraction. So we're going to put our minus sign here, which really means we're going to need to change the sign of both of the guys inside the middle. Okay, so 3b, negative 3b plus positive 3b, those cancel out. Negative 3 plus positive 3, those cancel out. So we have no remainder. So what that means is our factors, b plus 1 is a factor, that's a factor, and 2b minus 3 is a factor. So if you put those two in the box method and went all the way and multiplied them, you would come up with 2b squared minus b minus 3. That's what's meant by a factor. Okay, let's do one more. And when you first look at this, you go, uh-oh, that's too many terms, I don't know what to do. But it's the same process. So let's go ahead first and get it set up. We have 7x squared plus 3x minus 4. We want to divide into that x squared minus x plus 5. Okay, same process. We're only worried about the very first term as to what it can divide into. So the question is, how many times can x squared go into 7x squared? Well, that's going to be 7. So I'm going to put it way over there on the side, and my next step, I'm going to write it here at the bottom, is going to be to multiply this 7 times this whole thing here. So writing it down here, we're going to have 7 times x squared minus x plus 5. This will actually end up being a triple rainbow. 7 times x squared, 7 times negative x, 7 times positive 5. And that's going to come out to 7x squared minus 7x plus 35. Okay, so that's going to go here. I'm going to go ahead and put it in parentheses where I've got 7x squared minus 7x plus 35. Now remember, this is a minus, subtracting this whole polynomial. So what that really does is we're going to change it to addition and change the sign of everybody inside the parentheses. So now I've got 7x squared plus negative 7x squared, those cancel. I got 3x plus 7x is 10x. I got negative 4 plus negative 35 is negative 39. Okay, my x squared won't go into that, so we're done. This whole thing right here is my remainder. So the answer to this is 7 plus 10x minus 39, that's my remainder, and we put that over our divisor, minus x plus 5. And that's my answer. So question, is x squared minus x plus 5 a factor of 7x squared plus 3x minus 4? The answer is no. As long as you have a remainder, it's not a factor. Okay, and the last thing to really look at is the ones I've shown you, they've all been in standard form. And what that means is the exponents count down. 2, an exponent of 1, and then an exponent of 0. We don't always have them with all the terms in there. But before we can use this long division methodology, we've got to get all the terms in there. So on number 8, we're just going to rewrite the 4b squared minus 3 with all the terms in there. Then we can do our division. So I'm going to go ahead and put it under here where it's going to belong. We have the 4b squared. That's a b to the second term. We don't have a b to the first term, but we need it as a placeholder. So we're going to go ahead and say plus 0 b to the first term. And then we have our number, minus 3. Okay, so we have our second term, our first term, and then just our plain old number. And we're dividing this by b minus 1. Okay, then our process is the same. We're looking at this b. How many times does b go into 4b squared? So I'm going to put 4b squared divided by b leaves us with 4b. So I'm going to put 4b right up here. I put a 1 on my placeholder, an exponent of 1. That's not necessary, so I'm not going to be doing it on my answer. So now I've got 4b. I've got to multiply it times b minus 1. So I'm going to do that way up here. Let's say 4b. I've got to multiply it times my b minus 1. This is a double rainbow. That gives me 4b squared minus 4b. That's what I'm going to put right here. 4b squared minus 4b. But remember, we're subtracting. So we are going to change the sign of everybody inside and change it to an addition. Okay. So 4b squared plus negative 4b squared, those cancel. 0b plus 4b is 4b. And then we're going to bring down the minus 3. Okay, again, start the process over. How many times does b go into 4b? Well, it goes in 4 times. So plus 4. And now we have to multiply our plus 4 times our b minus 1. So 4 times b minus 1, double rainbow. I've got 4b minus 4. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down here, 4b minus 4. Got to remember I'm subtracting, so I'm going to change everybody's sign. 4b plus negative 4b cancels out. Negative 3 plus 4 is 1. That's my remainder. So the answer is 4b plus 4 plus 1 over b minus 1. And there's my answer. So that's a big thing to remember is when you're doing this long division, if it's not got each one of the terms, put a 0 placeholder in there so that you'll be able to bring your numbers down correctly. Okay, if you have any more questions on this, come to tutoring and I will help you through it.